Hey guys, welcome to another MapleStory video, and this one's going to be kind of a sort of like a talk / rambling type video. Hope you don't mind. I know I don't do news too much, but this is very important. They released a Maple memo. I actually do enjoy Maple memos quite a bit. I think it's interesting to. It's sort of like a MapleStory's own version of updates video, which I think is not bad. I think I do enjoy Maple memos quite a bit. But a couple things that I want to talk about, more specifically one aspect that they covered. So just to quickly paraphrase what they've been talking about, they touched on the reboot meso drop rate because of the Kishin nerf. Then they talked about the world merge, which is the one I want to talk about. Then they included a couple things about reboot pets that give buff skills, which is a point of controversy just because of the fact that they are essentially pay-to-win versions. And Nexon's trying their best to make sure reboot stays completely free to play. And there's nothing that money can do to make you stronger besides maybe real-world trading, buying accounts, all that hodgepodge of crap. 14th Street Big Bang Store updates, stuff for Adventure Fairy Bros, which I don't really know about, and the recent banning efforts, which I have mixed opinions on. Now, I'll talk about that maybe some other time. I don't know. Part of me wants to discuss this with other main server players, just because I don't know exactly to what extent it's going to go, but that's not the topic we want to talk about. We want to talk about world merge. So, ever since 2017, in I think October or September, Nexon basically killed the entire game by making a world transfer that basically but it basically mandated that everyone, if they wanted to have a decent population, move over to Bera, because Windia and Scania were both not allowed to be entered into. And a lot of Windians left, which I actually think was a decent move, just because I feel like Windia is a lot more peaceful now. There's no drama, no big amount of crap that's going on. But in exchange, they did cripple the population quite a bit to where the market is pretty much non-existent in this server. And to some people that doesn't bother them too much, to others it bothers them a great deal. And for me, it's a bit half and half, depends on where I am at in the game. But what they've announced is that they plan on essentially merging worlds. Now, this is not the same as a world transfer, because a world transfer allows you to transfer characters over from one server to another. And that was a big mistake that Nexon made, because then everyone will just leave the servers, and the people who did not have the opportunity to go, either because they didn't play at the time or because they didn't think it was going to be necessary, are now stuck in a relatively dead server. Nexon is going to merge multiple server alliances and servers into 2 separate worlds, which we have no idea what the name is going to be. They're going to release a poll for us to decide, and that's nice. I'd like to choose. Or I'd like some agency in what world name I want to be calling it. I'll still call it Windia, but whatever. First world is going to have GrazedBurgerKing, as I like to call it. Galicia, Renegades, Arcania, Zenith, El Nido, Demetos, Broa, and Kaini. GrazedBurgerKing. And then new world number 2 is going to have Windia and MyBacon, Mardia, Yolande, Belican, Chaos, Kradia, and Nova. I think that's actually a pretty decent distribution, just because of the fact that Scania, Bera, and Reboot, they've already had a relatively stable population. The rest of the servers are dead. To what extent this will do for the population of the servers that are based on, I guess I like to call them the foundation, is Burger King, Bro, and Kaini, they're not doing so hot. In fact, I would say first server, or the first world, GrazedBurgerKing, they're not doing hot. None of the servers are doing well, so I don't know exactly how much population the new world is going to get once they're all consolidated. But for the new world number 2, MyBacon, it's small, yes, but there are some notable players, and you still see a little bit of life, and Windia also has a little bit of life as well. So I think in terms of population will equate similarly to Scania, at least New World 2. I don't know about New World 1. They discussed when they're going to implement this, and they said somewhere towards end of August, early September, so a little ways away, a couple months. It's good that they're not taking too long to do it, just because I feel like people will be very impatient and they're going to be very excited about it. I think it was a good move. My opinion on this is that it was a pretty decent move. I think since everyone was requesting a server, a world merge, not necessarily a server transfer, a world merge, because there's so many dead servers, it would just be very bad logistically speaking for Nexon to maintain a whole bunch of separate servers, and it's better to just put it into one server. So I do like it. However, my biggest gripe about this is that I feel like they still overestimate how many players are in each server. Now, for all I know, maybe I might be underestimating how many players are in each server just because of the little bar. I was actually talking to someone about how they said it's against company interest to release the population just to discourage players. But there are some servers or some games that actually straight up publicly announce this server has 33,000 active players at the time, or like the private servers in MapleStory, they actually straight up tell you how many players are playing on at that concurrent time. Steam Charts does provide a relatively accurate description of the people who use MapleStory through the Steam client, but it doesn't let us know who uses the Nexon client. So I'm not entirely sure, what exactly the story might be with the population, but I do kind of wish that Nexon just simply made 3 separate worlds. Windia and every other server besides, like Scania, Windia, basically every server that isn't Bera and Reboot gets merged into one server. And that will have the same population, I think, that competes against Bera and Reboot, which I think is appropriate. 3 servers, I think it gives a relatively decent choice of what you want to pick for, but at the same time, each server will have a decent market, a decent population, and we'll go with that. Because as much as we do want to be hopeful that MapleStory will still continue going on for a couple of years, it's sustained by the players who just refuse to leave the game, either for nostalgic purposes or just because they find that MapleStory is just such a relaxing game. There's not many games like MapleStory, in all honesty, and if we can take out all the bad stuff about it, you can't really find a game that can take up a bunch of idle time in a not so stressful way, because the new games that come out these days are very intense and mentally stimulating but mentally exhausting, like Apex Legends, Fortnite, PUBG, Overwatch, League of Legends. It's fun to play those games. I actually find League of Legends more entertaining. I don't like it more than Maple, but I'd say it's more entertaining than Maple, but at the same time, I can only play League of Legends for so long before I actually just want to punch my keyboard or like throw my mouse at someone. So it's very difficult for us to do that, but I'm digressing a little bit. The population may or may not go up ever at all, so we have to make do with what we have. And even though I'm happy that Nexon is merging worlds, I feel like we shouldn't have 2 separate worlds, we should just have one, because I don't know exactly how much or how many people are in each server. Like I said, I could straight up just be underestimating how many people are in each server, and if we put even Windia and Scania together by themselves, it could cause a lot of overpopulation, but we'll figure out how it goes. We're entering summertime, and summertime is when a lot of people do start coming back. Just by statistically looking at my videos or going in the Steam charts, the population triples from spring entering into summer. So it might be a decent representation of what might happen, but since Nexon is doing the world merge after summer is about to end, overall though, I do approve of this. I think it's a decent move on Nexon's part. I think they should probably merge, not have 2 separate worlds, just merge MyBacon, GrazedBurgerKing, and Windia, and maybe even Scania together. But this is good. Now, a couple things I do want to let you guys know. Okay, so everyone from MyBacon, you are moving to us, not the other way around. I'm jesting. I really hope that this doesn't incite any drama among the server set, because this is the first time Nexon has ever merged worlds together. They've done server alliances, but I think people really didn't care too much, but this is a straight up merge, as in like, we're not going to be called Windia anymore, we're not going to be called MyBacon anymore, we're not going to be called Grazed anymore, we will be called something else. It could just be banter, but I've seen a couple less than pleasant messages about some servers like throwing shade at each other. I don't know, we'll figure it out. Alright, thank you guys so much for watching. Leave your comments down in the comment section below. What do you think about it if you're involved in those? But at the moment, it's mostly just like Bera and Reboot. But any of you guys who play in Grazed or BurgerKing or MyBacon, just, yeah, give me a heads up on what you think about the server. If you think you would do it differently with the world merge, or if you think this is like a perfect way to do it. A couple videos coming out this coming week, but since it's the first week of school for the summer semester, I might want to try to make a good impression and get back into the working habits and the work ethic, just because I've been a complete vegetable. We'll see. I'll see you guys again soon in the next video. Take care.